So today's trimming day. Every time I finish baking my cake, I wrap it up in cling film because it helps your cake to retain its moisture and to just remain soft. So we're going to be trimming our cakes. So first of all, we're going to be trimming the top. All you do is do like a scraping motion and go around the top of your cake so that it's leveled and everything is straight. So after leveling the cake, we're going to be filling our cakes with buttercream and then layering them. So just put a layer of buttercream and then put another layer of cake, a layer of buttercream, another layer of cake. I feel like it looks really good when you slice your cake and then you see different layers of buttercream. So that's what I do to all my cakes. It's going to be really high. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to trim a really high cake and a cake that's not so high. So this cake is going to be 5 layers, and I'm also going to be showing you how to trim a cake that's not as high as this one. So we're going to be filling our cakes with buttercream like I said, and then moving to the next stage. So like I said, gentle scrape motions. You don't want to just cut like a big block of cake out, or else you have a part of your cake being high and another part being low, and that's not going to look nice at all. We're going to be putting our final cake. When you want to put the final cake on top, you need to make sure that you put it upside down. The reason why you want to put it upside down is because the top already is very strong because it's the bottom of the cake, and then you just scrape off the excess and you're good to go. So that is how we are going to layer and level our cakes. Now we're going to be trimming. So there are different ways you can trim the cake. You can trim it straight, like holding your cake straight and just trimming around. But if you're just learning, I will not advise you to do this because it's going to be harder for you. So the best way I would advise you to trim a cake if you're just learning how to trim a cake is by trimming half and half. So this is the best way for you to trim a cake instead of trimming like that. So first thing you need to put your cake on a turntable if you are just learning. So and then trim half and half. So trim halfway down, flip your cake around, and then trim halfway up above, which is going to be the best and easiest way for you to trim a high cake like this. So directly, like at once, because if you do that, you're just going to end up with some parts of your cake not looking neat and some parts looking neat. Now we're going to be, if we're done, I'm going to be flipping the cake around. Now to trim the cake, what you need is a serrated knife. Please don't use your normal bread knife. Get your serrated knife, a long serrated knife. That's going to help you trim it properly. Then I'm going to be using my other cake board, putting it on it and then flipping my cake over so that I can trim the other side. If you can see, the top is already leveled and straight, so now it's just to trim the bottom. Now my hand that's on the cake is not pressing it down in any way. It's not applying a lot of pressure. It's just there to hold it in place. So if you put your hand on it, make sure that it is not pressing it down, and make sure you're wearing gloves. I like to use gloves when I am trimming the cake or when I'm at this phase, because now I'm actually touching the food that people are going to eat. But after the cake is covered with fondant, I really don't have to wear gloves, because then I'm decorating the fondant and it's hard to decorate the fondant with gloves. So as you can see, the cake is already trimmed, so I can just go around a little bit with my knife and it looks perfectly straight. Now after doing this, in case you have holes, kind of like I did in this cake, if you are dealing with a typical pound cake, you might have a few holes. So if you have a few holes after trimming your cake, what you can do is get a little mixture of buttercream and cake crumbs and then fill in the sides, so that by the time you cover your cake with fondant, it doesn't have like bulging holes. Just a little buttercream and cake, fill in the sides of your cake around and you're good to go. So I'm going to be filling it around, going around the cake with that little filling and then smoothing it out with our smoother. and then go around the cake. After doing that, fill in any sides that you feel like might have holes with your buttercream and cake, and then just scrape it around. So I'm just using my scraper to just go around it so that you can get out any excess buttercream and cake batter. So after doing that, we're going to be filling our cake with buttercream. So I just put a huge dollop of buttercream and then use my scraper to go around the cake with the buttercream, because my buttercream is a little bit thicker. Smooth, add some more buttercream if it's not enough, and then just go around it so that it is filled properly, and we're good to go. So the next thing after doing this now is to cover our cakes with fondant. If you want to cover it with fondant, or if you want to cover it with buttercream, this is already a perfect crumb coating for you. So crumb coated the cake properly, and we're just going to be decorating it with whatever we want to decorate it with. So in this case, we decorated it with this blue fondant cake. If you want to see a recipe on how I did this blue fondant, I'm going to be linking it above. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this recipe was helpful to you, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.